Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our... Okay, it's not a first look at all. But we're testing out the new commander on Georgia, but also doing a showcase of the Georgia for those of you who are thinking about purchasing it for the event currency that's going on. So, let's look at our commander. We're running the new Takanashi Hoshino commander with Paolo de Revel and Colorado. We have Flambeau Cannoneer, we have Dance with Death, Megalomania, Master Mechanic, and Fully Packed as our skills. We are also running AA Guns Mod 2, Steering Gears Mod 2, Concealment System Mod, and Artillery Plotting Room Mod 2. Okay? Let's look at the loadout. We are running the spotter plane. We're running a little bit of extra range and speed, as well as consumable cooldown time with the Epic Battle Booster. We are running the Italian Unity flag, because if you squint just right, it kind of looks like a Spartan helmet. And then we have the Type 9 camo, because Georgia. Survivability. You got 59,850 hit points with this build, because you don't get the bonus of having William Sims, so you don't get into that 60,000, which is sadness, but 26% torque production. Main battery, you have the 457mm Mark I guns. You get 6 of those, reaching out to 19.1 kilometers with this build, with a reload time of just 21 seconds to start. 180-degree turn time is 45 seconds. HE shell maximum damage is 6,450, with a 43% chance to set fire, so the best number. AP shell maximum damage is 15,750. Secondary armament, you have the 127mm Mark 38 Mod Zeros. You get 20 of those with 5-kilometer range, reloading 6 seconds with 1,800 maximum HE shell damage and a 5% chance to set fires. AA, you get the 20mm Orlik... What was that? I think I just threw up. You get the 20mm Orlikin Mark 4s. You get 40 of those, doing 144 damage per second, reaching out 2.5 kilometers. 40mm Bofors Mark II, you get 64 of those, reaching out to 4.2 kilometers with 254 damage per second. And then you have the 127mm Mark 38 Mod 0 dual-purpose secondaries that you have 20 of, doing 151 damage per second, reaching out to 6 kilometers. AA on these, as with most American battleships, is pretty solid. All right, you're not going to get much better, right? It's very, very good. All right. Maneuverability, maximum speed 34 knots, turning circle 890, and rudder shift of 12.7. So pretty solid for a battleship, but the turning circle is only slightly better than an Iowa class, but it is still a little bit better. The rudder shift is kind of nice though, 12.7, so it's not too bad, especially for a battleship. Allows you to turn and get those rear guns on when you can. Concealment, detectability by sea is 13.3, so a little bit better than an Iowa class, not quite as good as the Kansas. Detectability by air, 11.2, guaranteed is always 2, 15-kilometer smoke firing penalty. Statistics, this is probably going to be horrendous. Oh boy. 68%. Okay, not too bad. I've played a lot of battles in this ship. You guys know that. I'm not a big fan of the ship personally. I think it's too inconsistent for me. The Epic module for the artillery plotting room does help considerably, so if you do pick up this ship, I highly recommend you upgrade that module for an Epic so that you can get better accuracy over the course of the battle. But 46% main gun accuracy is a lie. I don't know. It just feels like it's not nearly that accurate. This thing has a tendency to completely avoid hitting things at times, and it's frustrating. But overall, my stats in the ship are pretty solid, but that's probably because I'm very aggressive in the ship. Armor-wise, there's not a whole lot here. It's a 32mm bow, as you'd come to expect out of a Tier 7 battleship. Nothing fancy there. Armor-wise, on the belt, you've got a 32mm side plating with a 38mm upper side plating, which you can angle, but if you look, it is quite a bit of flat. Now, there is a little bit of spaced armor there. You've got 32mm of torpedo belt protection, and then 38 behind it, so keep that in mind. The side of this ship is a lot tankier if you know how to angle. It's not the greatest, and if you get caught over-angled, the Georgia doesn't have the hit points that the Iowa does to get away with that, right? So every big hit that you take in the Georgia is absolutely devastating. However, where it makes up for the lack of hit points, as you'd expect out of an American battleship, the Citadel is right at the waterline. So nothing too crazy there, even if it's slightly a little lower than the waterline, actually. But where it makes up for it is this heal, and that's one thing I forgot to mention. So we do have 6 heals with this, and that is the main reason of this build. It's not just the reload. The reload is great, right? Throwing more crap at the wall, you're going to get more to stick eventually. But the repair party is where it's at. This ship has a better repair party than a normal, like, say, an Iowa. Let me look at the Iowa. Yeah, so the normal Iowa repair party is 363 per second, whereas the Georgia's 450. 426. So it's not a huge difference, but it is enough to actually be noticeable. And you need that when you have less hit points to start with. But 6 heals on American battleships is pretty disgusting. Not to mention the buff to the DPM. Like, seriously, 18-inch guns with a 21-second reload. Whew. Even for Georgia's inconsistency, that is pretty spicy, right? And again, that'll get faster as the game goes, just due to the perk. I'm clicking on the wrong thing here, sorry. I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. I'm so sorry. But yeah, this one right here. Dance with Death. Main battery traverse... Oh, wait, that's main battery traverse speed. Why do I keep thinking... No, it's reload the top part. So minus 0.16% of your torp, main battery, and secondary battery reload time per 1% hit points lost. So losing hit points actually makes you get a faster reload throughout the battle. So keep that in mind. Now you could forgo the artillery plotting room mod and go for the main battery mod in the last slot. I wouldn't recommend it because this ship only has 6 guns. You're gonna hurt if you don't have those extra accuracy, and you'll already give up some accuracy for this build to begin with. But above average maximum movement speed, it does have the engine boost as well to make that even faster. Big guns, ship is armed with high caliber main battery guns, reloader above average main battery reload speed. All of those things with this build make this thing a pretty nasty Georgia nowadays. Georgia, a high-speed battleship project which preceded Iowa-class ships. The main battery comprised 457mm guns placed in twin turrets, which were developed alongside the project of the ship herself in 1938. She was designed 1938, never actually built. The guns were, but they were never actually fitted to a ship. I believe they were only ever used in, like, testing. But, I mean, it is Georgia. It is a very good-looking ship. It's not an Iowa, obviously, but it's still a good-looking ship. Something about those really long dual gun turrets. You get used to seeing the triple turrets for a while on everything American, and then you get these nice long-barreled freaking dual guns, and you're like, it looks pretty good. You gotta hand it to it. But yeah, with all of that being said, I think it's time to get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Sea of Fortune, we're in the Georgia, and we are going to show why this is such a huge commander for U.S. ships. And a lot of people are asking, and I've seen a lot of prevalent people that are way better at the game than me, going, why would I use the new commander when I have other commanders that I deem better? Now, it all comes down to playstyle at the end of the day. However you decide to play your ship is best for you, right? We all have differences in the way we attack each map. We all have differences in the way we handle certain situations. I tend to be aggressive. So does it really come as a surprise if a commander that increases the reload rate of my guns and gives me extra ability to heal while taking enormous amounts of damage would be a bonus for me in personal, right? Like, when it comes down to it, those are things that I value. Now, you guys know consistency is another thing that I value, and I do lose a little bit of that consistency with this build. However, I deem the upside of the build to be higher than the downside, right? So, the little bit of inconsistency that I introduce into the Georgia with this build is made up for by the fact that I have extra heals in particular, okay? Now, if you're looking at trying to buy one of the 3 ships that are available, whether it's the Borodino, the Siegfried, or the Georgia, we have showcased all 3 ships at this point. right? This is the match that you're going to be able to see the Georgia. But what I want you guys to take away from it is I never tell anybody what they should spend their money or their time on or anything like that, okay? And one of the things that I've seen people mentioning lately, and I just want to get this out of the way because, by the way, this is one of my favorite parts or positions on this map because it gets this huge crossfire. Normally, this position would be a lot stronger, but if you see what the enemy starts to do in this, you'll see why this position isn't quite as strong in this particular match. Now, this Georgia, on the other hand, he's about to find out what we were talking about with not having the hit points to survive these kind of huge hits and paying attention to crossfires. He sat still, thought he was safe, but we have the range. It's a small map. You can't just sit in your spawn and hope that nobody gets a crossfire because, hate to break it to you, I understand where the crossfires are on this map, and I'm going to utilize that to my full advantage during this match. We're also going to be showing, focusing, prioritizing targets and so forth throughout the match. But regardless of all that, one of the things that bugged me about my video I made on the shield and the stuff, I had several people that stated that I was just selling out for wargaming, or I was, you know, making videos that were unethical, or that I was being dishonest, or not truthful, or not completely truthful with you guys in my opinions. And that's all they are. They're opinions, guys. If you don't want to buy the ship, you don't have to. But one of the things that people are saying was I didn't showcase the price, and that's why I made the second video showcasing, you know, the price of everything, because I didn't know the price. I don't look at that stuff. I get the ship loaned to me for a short amount of time, and then I make videos on it. I put it out there so that you guys can get an idea of what you're looking at, as we absolutely neuter that Georgia, who just stayed broadside. I can't imagine why that didn't work out for him. But anyway. As we get ready to push forward on this map, look at who we've got around us. We got a Rook out here who's just broadside. We're going to take a little bit of a gamble here. We're going to go for that shot and then start to push up on the left. Now, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to be in chat here, and I thought I killed this Rook. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was dead. But unfortunately, we get 4 overpens on the broadside of a Rook, and that was sadness. But anyway, I'm going to try to get my teammates to support me on this aggressive push. I can take a lot of damage. You guys have seen it time and time and time again. I can put myself in more aggressive positions than most because of the ability to, like, negate damage or at least mitigate some of the damage, right? And I've done this because of just the way that I play. Like, I've been hyper-aggressive for so long that I have a specific feeling of how everything's going to go. Now, I know the Shirot was on the other side of the map. We saw it temporarily. So I know that this is a Friesland, which means I know that I basically have nothing to fear torpedo-wise, so I need to just push up, right? Amalfi comes around the corner. He's broadside and begging for it. He looks like he's going to start turning away, so we're going to shorten the lead and then aim up a little bit to try to catch him as he turns away. And this looked very, very good. But unfortunately, we get kind of robbed there, only hitting a single shell. But Friesland is not really a threat to me. Yeah, he can get some fire damage, but we got 6 heals, right? We've only used 1 of them so far. So as long as we pay attention, we mitigate the amount of damage that we take here, I can be a lot more aggressive and put myself in a position where I can get rid of some of the key players. We know the Flanders around the corner, but this San Diego has put himself in a position where we can absolutely kill him. Rook comes around the corner first, so we're going to go ahead and take a shot at him. Again, he's broadside in a battle cruiser. I can't pass up that shot. You got to take it, right? But again, he's going to get very lucky, get 2 overpens. It's like, if it's me, I'm dead, right? But it's not me. But everybody on my team's yelling at me, get back, get back, get back. I'm like, guys, there's no reason to have everybody in one little pocket, all right? Move out. I can handle myself, but I need you guys with me. Now, Flounder, to his credit, gets a very good shot here as we neuter the San Diego, shocker. Flounder gets a very good shot through the cheek there, so I got to give it to the Flounder for that shot. That was a beautifully placed shot right through the cheek, which is what I was trying to avoid. I've been in reverse this whole time, but I had my engine mod going, or engine boost going, so it took me a little while to slow down. But notice that we've been able to mitigate most of the problems with the destroyer and stuff like that shooting at us, right? We're at 97,000 damage. We've done everything we've needed to do at this point. And then the Flounder is going to start to push forward because we've backed up, so now he's coming to us. And I would love to go through the cheek, but he's not quite at that angle, so we're going to go for superstructure instead as he takes some Jaeger torps. But he comes forward, he hits us with a little bit of damage to superstructure. It's not that much at the end of the day. We are looking at potentially getting set on fire by his secondaries, but again, he eats even more Jaeger torps. He's about to flood to death, so I don't need to take a shot. We go ahead and start aiming for the Amalfi here. Take the shot with the front guns, and this is where you get those Georgia guns just going, oh my god, what is that, right? He does turn away at the last second, and that probably saves his life for the moment. But because we have a fast reload, we've already got the rear guns ready. I would love to shoot the Friesland here, but there's no reason. He's not a threat. Who's the bigger threat? The cruiser. So I'm going for the cruiser. And this time, the cruiser is not expecting it. I get the shot off right around the island, and unfortunately for him, these were accurate. As we take all of his health, but of course, in true Spartan fashion, leave him with just enough to get away. But yeah, one of the things that I've avoided in all the years that I've been doing this, by the way, watch this shot on the road. Auto aim for life, right? Over the top of the mountain. I can't see him, so might as well just trust auto aim and hope for the best. And finally, we get the freaking Citadel. You can only beat broadside for so long, folks. But anyway, one of the things I've tried to avoid in the entire time that I've been doing my channel's been almost 8 years now. I've been doing this channel, which is crazy. Most of that has been on World of Warships Legends, but I started on World of Tanks, and even back then, I was doing reviews and stuff on tanks, right? One thing I always try to avoid is giving people, like, ultimatums, right? I don't say, you should buy this, or you shouldn't buy this. I give you guys information, and you guys can make the decision. I don't usually look at prices, because if somebody is interested in buying something, the price is not going to deter them. We've seen that with the latest ship in the, what do you call it? The Shield, right? If people want the ship, they're going to pay the price. Whether they have the money to do it, or if they have the resources to do it, they will, right? So that's why I don't care about prices. I don't give prices because it's not something that is relevant, right? I simply put out as much information as possible on the ship that is in question, so that people who want or are interested in knowing more about the ship can make an informed decision for themselves whether they want to purchase a ship or not. I never say, you should buy this or you should buy this. Now, I may say that I enjoy a ship, and that's not me trying to sell out for wargaming. That's simply me stating that I enjoy a ship that's a brawler type ship that has a lot going for it. It's got 30mm bow essentially because of the massive extended belt. It's got like torpedoes on both sides, extended range sonar. It's got longer range secondaries. It's got guns that are very punchy for their size. Like, there's a lot going for it, and that's why I was excited as somebody who plays aggressively for that particular ship. Now, that may not fit everybody's playstyle, but again, that's up to you guys to decide whether it's right for you. I never once tell anybody that they should or shouldn't buy anything. So I hope that this clears everything up, and I'm sorry that this video kind of went into that, but it ties into the fact that this is, again, a ship that you're looking at potentially buying with your event currency. And I'm not going to tell you, you should buy this one, or you should buy the Siegfried, or you should buy the Borodino. I simply put out the videos with as much information as possible regarding like the strengths, the weaknesses of the ships, and then I play the ship to the best of my ability with my playstyle, and I give my honest opinions on my personal feelings of the ships. And that has always been and will always be the case. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.